What's the deal? It's your boy Dre Mac coming back with another Garage Talk. Today we're going to be going over and talking about this new 2026 Mustang RTR Spec 5. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Mustangs, but I did like a few, like their Shelby's is nice. I did like their 5.0 back in the day. I think it was probably like their 80s, the early 1981 5.0 Fox body. I used to like them, man. Always really wanted one. But this new RTR, something different, man. From the body kits to the aerodynamics, it got carbon fiber on it. The dynamics is basically made as a drift car, but they made it legal from the, they had to make sure the regulations of it was street worthy. I can say it like that. They got carbon fiber parts all over the car. It's not all over the car, but it's in certain spots for the performance of that car. They do have they got a Whipple on there, a supercharged Whipple. And me personally, I think that's crazy for a Coyote motor V8. And this is like a 3.0 liter Coyote V8, man. So I really like it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't be bringing it to the channel. This thing pushing over 870 horsepower. For a Mustang, that's crazy. And like I say, I'm not really a big fan of the Mustangs or Ford just in general, Chevy game or no game. But that's where we at. That's what we're going to talk about. This thing pushing like 660 pounds of torque. So it's not keeping up with that vet. But for a Ford, it's not bad. And from this till the Charger, it's like this probably got a little lead over there, over the Charger, but I'm not a Ford guy. But we're gonna look at it, we're gonna go over it, we're gonna review the RTR, and then just let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Let's get it.
RTR Spec 5, and it's an absolute animal. RTR, also known as Ready to Rock, is the Mustang brand founded by Von Gitt Jr.
And these things are starting off at like 159,000. 159,000. Starting off for the RTRs, like they got base models, but these RTRs they going for like 159,000. That kit on there, the wide body kit on there, is ridiculous. And it's not like one of those wide body kits that you could pop one and off. This wide body kit is made from factory like this. And you don't really get that too much. I think, what other one had a wide body like I think the Dark Horse kind of had a wide body look to it. Because the Dark Horse is kind of remind me of a Camaro. So we're going to get into it, though.
I have to say that RTR has come such a long way, because you have to think of it this way. When it started as a company, it was really going against some of the other heavy hitters like Celine and Roush and these other companies, or even Shelby, arguably. And it was the new kid on the block. But RTR has very much, in my opinion, become the fun Mustang brand. They go drifting, they hoon, they go wild. They have an awesome motorsports legacy now because of that. And it's the wild and crazy one, right? The Celine S281 of the New Edge era was the crazy Mustang to me. And then the Roush S1...
The Celines, I do remember them. Those was clean and they was pretty fast for that time. I forgot about the Celines. I definitely liked those too. But still, I wasn't a Ford guy. It was just something new. Seeing what Ford did with the Mustangs. Because the Mustang's always been a nice looking car, but they never had that performance. They never had that performance, that sound. Even when some people do mid-muffler deletes on these things, they don't sound good at all. So to see them actually put some performance on it and put, body kits on it, it kind of brought the Ford Mustang out, to be honest. That's just my opinion. Comment below what you think.
7 was the crazy one of that era. And then the
I didn't
RTR
like that
came
one.
along with the 2011 generation. I was like, oh, interesting. Vaughn's doing something with the Mustang brand. Now, the Spec 5, right off the bat, what kind of power does it make? Okay, buckle up, because it's a doozy. We have the now
800%.
legendary 5-liter Coyote V8 with a 3-liter Whipple supercharger on it.
A Mustang with a supercharger, a Whipple on there. You know, you throw Whipples in Camaros, you throw a Whipple on Hellcats, you throw a Whipple, you know, on those type of cars. So for Ford to put a Whipple inside a car, RTR, it's not bad. RTR did that thing, to me, in my opinion.
Gas making 870 horsepower and 660 foot-pounds of torque out of the box. And right behind it is a 6-speed manual transmission. I think the first thing people are going to ask is how.
But I think it comes so you got a 6-speed transmission on them, but I think they come in 10-speed automatics too. Which to me, I'm not a stick guy, but I think stick shift cars are better. You get better torque, you get better power, but you got to know how to drive them. If you don't know how to drive them, it's really not gonna be fun.
How does this car compare to the GTD? I'm going to mention a few things about the RTR versus the GTD, but the GTD is an exclusive car that's very hard to get. It's also astronomically expensive. It's got a transaxle in it, so it does drive very different. So this being a more traditional S650 with basically everything you can do to a Mustang. Not only that, we have 305 tires in the front and 315s in the back. These are some meaty boys. And of course, all complemented by all the body modifications to the RTR Spec 5.
And I like the wide body. I like the factory wide body on this thing. It don't look all cheesy. And like I said, for Mustang to come out the box like this, I'm not a fan of how the carbon fibers stick out on the sides, but I know they got to do with the performance, the aerodynamics on it. Those are active. But I kind of like that. But me personally, I think they should have molded it into the body. That would have been hard to me. And if it was molded into that wide body and those active vents was coming through the bumper, that would have been hard.
Compared to the normal Mustang. Sure, the previous generations had wide bodies and stuff of that nature.
Look at the difference between the wide bodies. Look at the difference. That looked terrible. Those look like panels that are just screwed onto the side of the car. This 2026, the way it's molded on there, I don't think you can outbeat that. You can't beat that look.
Time around, there's no visible hardware, there's no rivets or anything like that. Everything is composite and carbon. Now the exhaust on this car, RTR worked with Borla, and they really did a bunch of R&D to make the Spec 5 sound like no other Mustang on the planet.
I was just talking about their sounds. Their sounds was terrible. So if for them to put that boiler exhaust system on there, I feel like that takes the Mustang up a little bit, because that performance wasn't there. So now that it sound good, I know it's coming with performance. Like the Chargers, they sound good. The Corvettes, they sound good just off startup. You really don't have to do much to them for them to make sound, you know. But with the Mustang, anytime you hear a Mustang and they're revving their engine and stuff, you be like, yeah, okay, what you about to do, you know? So from what I'm seeing on this video right here, that boiler exhaust system sounding good.
And when they pulled up with the car today to bring it to me to do glamour shots and photos and all that kind of stuff, I heard it in the distance and I was like, wait, that's a Mustang? And I jokingly said to Jaron, a good friend of mine from Mustang Fan Club and also works at RTR himself, I said, it's amazing what happens when you don't just straight pipe a Coyote motor and you actually do your research. This car sounds good. It's not raspy. It has a real throaty, mean, aggressive note to it. You not only have the 800...
But that's like I was saying, like, you couldn't really, you couldn't mid-muffler delete these. Like he said, when these cars, them Coyote engines get downpiped, it sounds terrible. It's raspy. It's just not it. compared to all the other muscle cars in the big three, you know.
100+ horsepower. It also sounds like a grunty, crazy front-engine V8 muscle car. And the S650 is a more expensive Mustang out of the box, but it does have a much nicer interior. The materials are a lot better. Also, you might notice the RTR Spec 5 also has these gorgeous Recaro seats with RTR embroidered onto them, which I thought was a nice touch. Even if I had a normal Mustang S650, I would give it the RTR treatment. I love the grille that RTR makes. I love all these ducts and carbon things they do, but I also need to mention things like the side skirts and the ducting they have for aero and brake cooling. The side skirt, if you look at it very closely, or the rocker, it curves in to create more flow, which is really neat.
That sound going crazy, chat. Sorry, chat. Sorry for me saying chat. But this is going crazy. Comment below if you like the sound of this RTR. I think it sounds good for a Mustang. I do.
Woo! Woo! Yo, corner exit is wild on this thing. Just enough supercharger sound. Just enough. When that Whipple starts spinning, man, this thing is a rocket ship. I don't give two shits if it's 870 crank or wheel. Car's fast. The fast car. Especially in the top end of the RPM range, it just starts pulling like a freight train.
I like how the engine
the
bay
sound of this thing off the trees, even just cruising, so satisfying. I'm driving past a cemetery, but I feel like I'm waking the dead. Even with this much power, though, the downshifts, hold on. Even with this much power, though, it's still very natural.
For it to be factory, it sound good. The downshift sound good. The switching the gears sound good in the high RPMs. To me, it's not bad.
To drive at low RPM. If you can drive a stick shift and you can drive a Mustang, you can at least, in the bottom RPM range, can drive the Spec 5 no problem. The clutch is extraordinarily easy. It's not extra grabby like a big aftermarket clutch that is hard to get used to. You know, it's not even fair to compare even the Mustang GT versus this. I've driven an EcoBoost, I've driven Mustang GT, I've driven Dark Horse. Dark Horse is very, very good. I would put this in a very positive light. If we really want to compare, I'd put this between Dark Horse and GTD, right?
That's what I said.
The crazy power of the GTD, but the rawness of a manual Dark Horse. All right, we're gonna play a game called Will It Hook? Probably not, but that's okay. Woo! This thing is a rocket, dude.
It look fast. Y'all hear that whine?
And every time you get...
Oh my God. That Whipple whine is ridiculous. And that was the inside shot. Whoa.
On it, even just a little bit, when you're big toeing it, you hear a little bit of sound coming off the intake. One thing you do have to worry about is when you get out of the car, you have the beautiful part of the side skirt that is carbon. I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure I don't step on that. Kind of in a funny way, it's kind of the aesthetic version of when you step out of a Viper with the side pipe on it and you burn your leg, except this time you just don't want to crack carbon fiber, right? That's very pretty. I know, first world problem.
And me personally, I still don't think the car look like appealing to me. Cause it, like I said, it gives drift car. It's not appealing, but the performance of the car, it's good. It's good.
I don't want to stop at my carbon fiber here. So I also love all the little details and Easter eggs the RTR has. Basically, it has plaques of the serial number you have and the stuff that makes it feel special. And also there's the plaque on the Whipple blower itself on the 3-liter. And also to get a little bit more power, the 3-liter Whipple has a smaller pulley on it, and that's how they achieve these numbers.
Okay. Intakes.
I was trying to see somewhere in the sound if it gave that signature Coyote rasp when people do the exhaust on. Nope, sounds good to me. It is very easy to drive. Even when you're all the way in the sauce, it just hooks up and goes because it has enough tire. Woo! Yeah, you catch that car in front of you real quick. It's just so weird to think of a Mustang like this sorted to where you can just get on it. You don't have to worry about crazy wheel spin all the time. It just does the thing.
That's why I said it's not hooking or nothing. This is a good Mustang. And as long as Ford, if Ford could push these out factory, the RTR not looking bad. 159,000, but it's not looking bad. And in this shot right here, it looked good. It looked good from the front and the back. I'm just not too much a fan of the carbon fiber right there, of how it looked, which I know, like I say, it's performance. But you could get the standard versions where it's just a wide body. But that takes away from that 870 horsepower plus horsepower. So it's like, we might as well just, and it probably would grow on me. Like if I was to see a lot of these on the streets, it probably would grow on me. I'm not mad at the Spec 5.
Man. All right, to be fair, that was first gear, okay? The car understood the assignment. And it's interesting because as I'm going through the power, I've been waiting for that moment for it to start spinning, and maybe you have to add a little bit of inputs in, right? And it's not. So that's pretty mind-blowing to me. 800 horsepower is like so laughably easy to drive now. Don't get me wrong, it's still very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. It's just a different era now where everyone's so numb to horsepower, and also the engineering has gotten way, way better.
That thing sounds good.
So anyway, like I was saying, RTR with this car truly feels like they have taken it to the next level. It feels like a different company to me. And I know that sounds maybe...
But that's what I'm saying. That's why every time I say RTR, it's saying Ford produced. It's kind of like I'm talking about a different company when it's, you know, they partnered together. So it's tough.
Not like the previous cars were not as good. That's not it. It's just this feels like they went to the drawing board and said, how do we make the S650 without the transaxle as fun to drive as possible? It feels like there was legitimate research and development. In fact, I know they just went to the track the other day to make it even better, right? They're always constantly learning and constantly developing new things for this car. Yeah, I
gotta double check to see what's the 0 to 60 on this thing. Cause from what it's looking at, I'm gonna just say from me seeing him drive it, the 0 to 60 gotta be anywhere from, with that Whipple, I'm gonna say about like a 4.95, a 4.95, a 4.9 or a 5. That's probably the 0 to 60.
Carried away in this car real quick. Real quick.
That sounds
good. Woo! Crazy. It seems like they definitely took their time with this one. They really got it down to the fine details and said, how do we really do the best job we can do without it feeling like to the customer it's just a body kit or an aero kit or whatever. It's the full package. It has more than enough power than anybody could ever need. It handles well, it turns in well as a street car, and it doesn't feel like a full-blown race car. Below boost, I feel like I'm in a much better handling S650 Mustang, very much like the Dark Horse. And look, even third gear. Woo! And that really makes this feel like an actual OEM car and not just a Mustang that has parts added onto it, if that makes sense.
Whipple. Whew. Coming off a Ford.
Guys, comment down below. What do you guys think about the look of the car? Do you think it's too boxy? What do you guys think about the no hardware showing like the previous ones? I really like that aspect of it. It's a very free-flowing car in person. And what do you just think about the car in general? What Mustang generation, if you had to have one, and don't tell me you don't like Mustangs, if you had to have one, which one would you choose? Put it down in the comment section below. And on that note, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you.
All right, y'all. So I want y'all to comment down below. Let me know. Are y'all taking this Spec 5? Are y'all taking this RTR? Which brand of the Mustang that y'all think had the best performance? Right now, like I said, I'm not a Ford guy, but I'm going with this Spec 5. My favorite, personally, Mustang, I'm gonna always go with the 5.05. It's fly. You put some dings on there, you good to go. Put your sound system in there. I ain't really looking at for the speed out of a Mustang. So when I look at a Mustang, that's what I'm thinking of, that 5.05. So comment below, man. Let me know which one y'all taking. Y'all taking the Spec 5? Y'all taking the Black Horse? Y'all taking the Shelby? Which Mustang y'all talking? Let me know. Y'all taking this Black Horse? Or y'all taking this Spec 5? Y'all taking that 5.0 Fox body? Or y'all can even go older than that. Comment below. Let me know which Mustang that y'all like. And it's Dre Mac with another garage talk. What's in your garage?